Greetings nerdy list aficionados and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. People, superheroes specifically, going too far. We're gonna talk about all of it. Also, some of the limericks in the comments of part 2 were hilarious. And quick note, some of you have been asking, what does aficionados mean? Why are you making up words? Well, aficionado actually means an enthusiastic fan with a slightly above average zeal and knowledge. So, you're being complimented. I appreciate that you think I would flex hard enough to just make up a word though. That's flattering. Now, as with last time, you may not feel that these heroes are going too far. You may think they haven't gone far enough. As always, mileage varies. Let's just enjoy all of these moments, cause well, they're awesome. I'm Sash and these are the top 10 times superheroes went too far, part 3. Let's get started. Number 10. Superman kills Zod. No, not that one time. No, Clark has killed Zod before. There was a precedent, but not as a member of the Neck Snap Club. So in the 1980s, John Byrne rebooted Superman. In the comic, his origin was retold. Some characterizations were also tweaked. It was more of a tonal shift than anything. It was a new era for the Man of Steel. He was a different man, not the super jerk of the Silver Age and early Bronze Age. This new origin was actually far more in line with the 1978 movie and its 1980 sequel that also featured Zod. It was particularly in line when it came to depictions of Krypton. So Clark, when he learned of other Kryptonians and their histories and about Zod, decided that he was going to carry out the sentences that had been handed down to them, and so he executed Zod in the Phantom Zone with green kryptonite. And then he proceeded to have much angst about it. He even exiled himself to space, cause you know, death matters. So this went too far cause, well, it took Superman out of commission. The Earth was just there cause of this. I mean, he could have just left them in the zone. Zod came back anyway via retcon, so way to waste a death. Number 9. Flashpoint, Barry Allen. So Flashpoint is the event that leads directly into the New 52, and it was all started off because Barry decided he had to go save his mom. Now on one level that's super sweet, but on another, was he replaced by a pod person? When you're a superhero who deals in the mystic and the super science on the regular, you know that time travel is not something you should just mess around with. It always has zany consequences. It's never something little like, oh, cinnamon rolls are now the national dish. It's always, oh, you're not the Flash, and Bruce Wayne died, and Atlantis and Themyscira are about to destroy each other. And the world. So yeah, Barry created a separate timeline that even erased his protege Wally West from existence, along with so many kids and families, as his mom was dead. He was clearly not following the Vulcan creed about the needs of the many. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one. Unless it's your mom, am I right? Up top. Number 8. Spider-Man rips off a face for Kane. Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and Kane have an interesting relationship. Kane is one of his clones from the Clone Saga, and was initially a crazed, unstable killer capable of the Mark of Cain, which is where he used acid hands to burn off people's faces. So it would come as a shock to some that during the Spider-Man Grim Hunt, Kane would end up sacrificing himself for Peter, who was being hunted by the family of Kraven, the Hunter. And Peter was wearing his black costume at the time, so you know what that means, he's hyper aggressive. So he hunts down Kraven's daughter, well, the whole family, but he ends up ripping off her face as a kinda, that's for you Kane, all for you buddy, best clone, I took her face off. Just intense. This is one of those modern black symbiote suit stories, so they're upping the ante quite a bit. Number 7. Booster Gold, The Gift. Another time traveler abusing their power. Look, time travel really just needs to be given to voyeurs, just people who are not gonna mess with stuff. Do you want to wake up with fish hands? Because this is how you wake up with fish hands. So the Gift storyline for many was when they started to question, is Tom King okay? This started in Batman 45 in the lead up to the Bat-Cat wedding that never happened. Booster got Bruce a gift, a horrible alternate timeline, because he made it so that Bruce Wayne's parents didn't die in an alley. Listen, Booster, there are some heroes who can have their origins altered and some who can't. Superman, Batman, over at Marvel Spider-Man, leave them alone. The effects of this timeline were weird too. There was still a Batman, but it was Dick Grayson, and Selina couldn't speak for some reason and was all hisses and grunts. It sure was a story that I read. Time travel plots are hard to pull off, and they're not all created equal. There are so many at this point that when one flops or is just meh, it stands out. Booster, next time just get him a normal gift like a tie or a coupon for a massage. Number 6. Daredevil becomes Kingpin. So Daredevil has been fighting crime in Hell's Kitchen for quite some time now, and sometimes it gets to him. It's all too much. Such was the case during the Bendis run when he came to Hell's Kitchen, beat Kingpin within an inch of his life and went, look at me. I'm the Kingpin now. That's right, he took over Hell's Kitchen. Now some of you may be saying, earned, how is this going too far? Well, it was the fallout. Like all the gangs or even the Kingpin were going to just take this lying down, not likely. So there was a lot of collateral damage from this, and Matt would even have his identity revealed. It was all really just a lot of a lot. It's a favorite arc for many, but still too far, Maddie, too far. Number 5, Spider-Man stabbed Deadpool. So Spider-Man and Deadpool had a team-up series, Spider-Man / Deadpool, and for a period versus when they weren't on as good terms. It ran for 50 issues. So during this whole thing, which largely occurred because of the pair's popularity as a ship, people love them some Spideypool, and the comic does at times pander, but back to the point. Deadpool is bending over backwards to prove to Spidey what a good person he is and that he deserves his friendship. He is to the point where he's willing to be a punching bag for Peter's issues. Peter, well, he's working through some things, including feeling like part of his life is wrong or missing. Thanks, Mephisto. And at one point when he's careening more into violence and Deadpool calls him out for it, he stabs him right through the chest. He actually kills him, but it's Deadpool, so he gets better. Peter played pretty fast and loose with Deadpool's healing factor in this series. Stabbing your friends? Too far. Number 4, Professor X fakes his own death. So we have so many Professor X moments to choose from, and I went with this early one. It's a classic from Uncanny X-Men number 42, where Professor X dies in the arms of his devastated X-Men. But psych, he wasn't actually dead. The X-Men, these teens and young adults, just go it alone for 20 issues. Then Professor X just shows back up and was like, I was in the basement. He hid in the basement the entire time, because he was planning for an alien invasion. The person who actually died was Changeling, a reformed villain who wanted to redeem himself before dying of a terminal illness. So Professor X was like, wanna help me fake my own death? Hero style? So, 2 things. You could just have told them to leave you alone, and then subtly push them to do it with your powers if you really needed them to never bother you. 2, you could read their thoughts like all that morning from the basement the entire time, or just like, nope, I'm staying down here. That's cold. Number 3, Reed, the Council of Reeds. So you've heard about the Council of Reeds, where Reed joined up with a bunch of other versions of himself. So this council was formed by 3 Reeds, all with Infinity Gauntlets, and eventually the 616 Reed joined. But all these Reeds ended up in a battle with Celestials, and most of the Reeds died in this battle. Now our Reed deactivated the bridge after finding he couldn't give up his family the way the others had. So well, how is this too far? Well, he didn't tell his family, and one day his daughter Valeria snuck into the lab and reactivated the bridge. And so there were like 4 Reeds who had survived and they crossed over and died. Tell your family things so they don't accidentally open portals to other worlds and unleash evil. Number 2, Ms. Marvel and the Teenage Gestapo. So Ms. Marvel got pulled into Civil War II just like everyone else, but in her book it got weird. Now Ms. Marvel really looks up to Carol Danvers. She used to want to be her, hence her taking on her name when she got her embiggened Terrigen Mist powers. But when Carol shows up in her books, it's for Civil War II purposes, and to tell her to be part of what's basically a teenage Gestapo. You know, Ulysses predicting crimes before they happen, Minority Report. So basically it's a group of teens going around and policing their friends and neighbors, arresting them, taking them from their homes, and taking them to a warehouse prison outside the town. And at first Ms. Marvel is like, let's do this, and yup, people get arrested, even people that she knows personally, and it's just this whole arc. She eventually backs out, but she's still scarily loyal to Carol. She will lie to her family and beyond for her, and Carol makes her. It's just, did people think the implications of all this through? The worst part about this, and why both she and it went too far, is that it derailed the book. This event just stopped it cold, and it took a while to get back on track. It's a bad look. So what's worse than arresting your friends before they can do anything cause you're just following orders? Well, number 1, Wally West, Heroes in Crisis. Murder. So just everything with Heroes in Crisis vacillated so much. Some of it was really good and some of it was really terrible. So Heroes in Crisis was largely a murder mystery, so spoilers. But we finally discovered that the person who killed all the people at the secret sanctuary therapy session location was Wally West, beloved Flash from the late 80s and early 90s, who Dan Didio has been trying to kill for at least a decade. Wally read through all the patient files of the sanctuary at once, even though the files were supposed to be deleted, and all of that angst and out of characterness for some of the people made him go insane. He lashed out and killed a bunch of them, heroes and villains alike. Then he time traveled to kill himself later in the timeline to bring that corpse back to cover it up so it looked like he died too. Ladies and gentlemen, the hero who brought us rebirth. This whole thing was just a slap in the face for Wally fans, and for many it felt like forced pathos, and just too far. Wally was a hero and a kind soul, it just all felt very contrived. Lots of Heroes in Crisis does, and some of the continuity is really wonky. Now some people love this arc, and that's great. indeed. Everyone is approaching comics from a different stance and perspective, but as someone who has had Wally as the Flash their entire life until Barry's rebirth in the early 2000s, hashtag not my Wally. So those were 10 more times that superheroes went too far. Did you agree, or did these heroes not go far enough? Should Wally have killed more people? Let me know down below. I'm Sasha, and thanks so much for watching Top 10 Nerd. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more nerdy lists. Hit that bell notification so that you never miss a vid, and we'll see you again soon.